pitch. She shows them the future of Louisburg. And it's just of a tidal wave, a rising tide, and that. And that's the story is. The story actually is how they forgive her that, how they forgive her showing them the showing of that. And what's strange about her is that she's an android as well. Because she's an android. She's come to live in Louisburg. She's an android. Why wouldn't she? Where else would she go? And that. And I don't know if you saw 2 years ago. I don't know if you saw about last year, 2 years ago, where an android called Sophia was given full citizenship in Saudi Arabia. Did you see that? No? Is it just me who saw it? Yeah. An android, a female sculpted android, was given full citizenship in Saudi Arabia, and in my story, she has revoked her Saudi Arabian citizenship because women still, where she has full citizenship, women in Saudi Arabia didn't have full, and that's the case as it is at the moment. This android has more human and government rights than women in Saudi Arabia. So she renounces, in political protest after living in Saudi Arabia for 9 or 10 years, she renounces her citizenship and she comes to live in Louisburg. And that's where she is now. So those are my two stories, and I can't say, I don't know why they announce themselves. I don't know why they announce themselves. I've never had two female narrators before. I don't know why, and that's actually, and I don't know why it's come this late in my life. I don't know why that. All I do know is that lately I've been reading an awful lot more women writers than I previously did. You know, I spend my time reading, and at the moment out there's incredible female energy. There's people like Lisa McInerney, Claire Louise Bennett, Claire Kilroy's always been a fine writer in that. There's just people doing, just women doing things that are so almost counterintuitive, and that if you read Lisa McInerney's book and that, you think, wow, this just came out of somewhere really, really strange, and that, and comes with a really two-fisted energy that you don't readily associate with women, and that. But so this is what. So that's my take on it. And I was saying, half joking down there, that this is not so much my speech is quite possibly more likely Thoras na Mike rather than Thoras na Mon, and that my journey towards the feminine. One of the questions, though, I wanted to put to you in this, one of the questions that I want to, and builds on what Lilith was speaking, is that Marcus Conway in Solar Bones, he draws attention to a male, or a type of male, that I've always wondered about. And he says Mayo is a place of penance and atonement, and now I know lamentation. Apparently what was more laments, we lament longer, and we lament and more often, apparently. The texts are there to prove it. And if you see, and Marcus draws attention to this, that the landscape of Mayo, unlike any other landscape, is crossed with penitential pathways, and that it's blistered with penitential shrines. 3 of our sons have given their lives on hunger strike for political ideas. You have to go to, I don't know, Antrim and Derry to, certainly no other, I don't think has any other county in peacetime given 3 sons. Even how long ago was it that someone from around here threatened to go on hunger strike for the Shell to Sea issue and that? Why? And it's a question I ask because I really don't know. Is Marcus right in that perception that Mayo is, that we give ourselves to visions like that we have prayer houses, that we have pilgrim paths up mountains, that we have shrines? Is he right in that perception? What?
Connection with the ancestors. It's just as you're talking, that idea came to me.
Mixing with our ancestors.
Connection, yeah.
Connection with our ancestors, yeah. I don't know. I'd really be interested if someone has any ideas on this, because I find what he had to say really really interesting. Lilith, you were talking there about revels and how holy wells could spill over into all sorts of devilment and everything like that. When I was a child, one of the things that was so visually striking in Mayo's landscape was, I lived in Lecanvy, and you could look out the back of our house. Literally, I lived in Lecanvy, and literally as a child I used to run out the back door and straight up the reek. No deviation, of course, or anything, straight out. And I used to go up the opposite side, as opposed to going out the right hand side, which is up by Morrisk. I used to go up the Lecanvy side, which is up the other side of that. But we used to look over on the pilgrim path at night, and this is when it was a night pilgrimage, and you'd see a steady stream of light going up the side of the hill. People coming from all over Ireland, streaming up the side of this hill with flashlights and torches and all sorts of things. And it was such a striking image. I think the bishops put an end to it in the mid to late 70s, was it?
Just when before you said that, I thought, I'm blaming St. Patrick for going up and vanquishing the kayak at the top of the reef.
Was that it, yeah? Was there a kayak at the top of it?
She went up there to avoid it.
That's what he was doing up there.
Yes, what he was doing up there. Not fasting at all.
Not fasting at all.
That's one of the stories. He wasn't fasting at all. He went up to vanquish her.
I did know that was why. I did know that. Anyways, it was because of the surplus of devilment that went on in the night pilgrimage and that going up. Yeah, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to give an outsider's view of Mayo.
Yeah.
And I can recognize that Mayo people talk about Mayo probably and see it the way you see it. So I gave my own sort of branding to Mayo, which has called Paradise Possible, and I see it more as a perfect balance, as quality of life and a perfect balance between communities, so nature, culture, and communities. But I see it on a positive side.
Yeah.
And and probably part of what you say about the penance or whatever, it's part of this interaction.
Yeah.
And it's balance between the people. But I see also, when I say a balance between nature, culture, and society, is also that you use the land and nature for positive things.
Yeah.
To be ideal, scientific, etc. To be energy projects, but also your festivals, etc. You can come from salmon festivals or others have land, nature, and your own land as a positive thing. So I see Paradise Possible as a
Mayo as Paradise Postponed
as an attractive thing. But one thing I'll also mention, and it's probably the attitude of people towards Mayo, is when you paint the sea or the land, you always paint people looking outwards to sea. So you have a sort of migration outward.
Yeah.
I see there are no images of Mayo seen from the sea. So as coming towards Mayo, I see it that way. But I'm not a big outsider.
No, it's very true actually. One of the things I did a project on immigration from Mayo I did a project from immigration in Castlebar there about 3 years ago on that, and 9 or 10 writers from all over Mayo showed up to explore the theme and that, and one of the themes was just how they left Mayo and how women seemed to thrive when they left Mayo. Men got homesick, came back. Women thrived and left. Women left and thrived, and then were brought back by their menfolk, and weren't always happy about coming back either on that. Left lives of order and prosperity in Britain to come back to what was still a tough proposition. Mayo was still hard place for being a woman. And I've seen that in my own family, and I was very taken with the number of women who attested to it around the table on that. And so yeah, maybe paradise postponed. I was very taken with, Justin, do you remember, what was the name of that the hermit in Drummond? I keep trying to remember her name. Remember the hermit?
Sorry? I'm sure that I do remember that.
It's just that one of the things which again I find really odd, it'll come to me again. There was one of the last things Pope John Paul did was that he licensed a hermit. Okay, he licensed a hermit. She was from Dublin. She had the whole wide world in which to go, and he had to take down this. He had to take down this license, you know, and blow the dust off it. It hadn't been used in hundreds of years and that. And he had to confer on her a license from the Vatican to preach and to set up a hermitage. And she could do this with the full authority of the Vatican. And she had the whole wide world in which to do it and to choose from to preach this sacramental life which she was teaching. But she chose Drummond up near us, which is about as windy and wild-swept a spot as you could imagine in that. Why? I don't know. Why? You had the whole world to choose from. You go and choose Mayo. I don't know what it is. Does it have this kind of spiritual gravity? Does it have this gravity? Does it attract this kind of thing? There you are, folks. Come in a spirit of inquiry. If you can illumine these questions from me, I would be grateful. Thank you very much.